Everyone needs therapy.
Everyone does need therapy.
This is Renee.
And this is Irina.
And you're listening to Honey, I'm Healing. Are you ready to add another one to the mix? A newborn?
I mean, it's going to be fun regardless, but I'm just exhausted with the now. But it's just today. They're not feeling good, and there's just a lot going on as far as like taking care of everyone. So
mom life.
Yeah. Well, I'm ready to get into it. We've already recorded this once, and it was funny because the first time Renee said, "Welcome to our October book club," or something like that.
Yeah. So we're reviewing our. It's not even reviewing, because it's 5 stars, right? Like.
Oh, 100%. This is a 5-star book.
Yeah. Anything Margarita is 5 stars, but we are going to be discussing my October book of the month pick because, life gets busy and, it's so funny too because this is the first time that we're back in the new year, especially after the holidays, and it's, we kind of got out of rhythm, and I'm just embodying grace, not perfection here. Yeah. And so,
we're working slowly and doing our thing.
Exactly. So we're going to be talking about The New Rules by Margarita Nazarenko. And for all of our listeners who may or may not know who she is a life coach turned TikTok creator who has really found her fame in talking about feminine energy and just embracing your feminine energy, specifically in dating and just finding it again. And I think I can speak for both Irina and I when we say it has been pretty transformative in our life. But credit where credit is due. Irina is the one who found her and shared her with me, and my life has been changed since. So did she just happen to show up on your For You page one day and that's how you came across her? Or like, how did that happen?
I think so. And it was more related with like feminine empowerment and more just like your individual self. But she does talk a lot about dating and relationships too. But when you go into her book, when you start reading her book, like at the core of it all, it's all about who you as your own individual self is as a woman. That can then help navigate how you have relationships and such. And I think that's really interesting from different perspectives, like being married and then dating. Like you kind of do things at different levels.
Weird.
Different levels. But yeah, I found her on TikTok and loved her right away.
Yeah. I remember I can't count the amount of times we've had conversations about or like sent her TikToks back and forth. And like, this one is so good. And so good. So
relatable. And we wanted to share it with you. She has a book. And did you already say the name?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep. It's okay.
I was thinking, that's what I was thinking of. Credit to her podcast too. Cause I listen, I watch her videos, but I also listen to her podcast. I believe it's called Being Her, and so good. And like, they're super short, sweet episodes. I love them. So please go listen to those too.
Yeah. All right. Let's dive on
So
in.
the book is split up into 2 parts. And in the first part, we have 6 rules. And we'll see how many we get through because there's so much to say.
Yeah. Okay. Rule number 1. Let's go.
Self-love.
This one I'm still kind of working through, to be completely honest with you. My lock screen on my phone used to be, "You are her, act like it." And that really helped me kind of, hold on, there was like a background sound that sounded like, and I was like,
it's not my breathing.
It's a ghost. No, I know. I was like, I know you're pregnant, but you're not like
wheezing over here.
No. No. Okay, so
I don't hear anything. Just
It's
FYI.
probably just the voices in my head. It's fine. Um, so becoming her has really changed the way that I view myself. And she talks about becoming like a character in the book. And I think it's in the first two rules. Within the first two rules, she talks about finding a character and kind of embracing that. But whoever her is to you, like, you're worthy of becoming her. So just act like it and walk in that, and it will happen. And
Yeah.
yeah.
And whoever that her is, it's not who you've always been. She goes a lot and she talks about on her TikTok specifically about authenticity. Like, what even is authenticity and who even are you? And she says, yourself isn't who you've always been. It's who you want to be. You choose who yourself is. Why not build yourself? Your negative traits don't have to be that's just who I am. Just because everyone has known you for being a certain way, you're not limited and stuck to that person. You can start wearing your cute dresses and embracing having your nails done and your hair done more often and just becoming whatever that person is that makes you feel confident and all the beautiful traits of being feminine.
Yeah. Well, in the book, she talks about how people notice women's hair and nails more than anything. And so it's so interesting because those are the two things that I've really found to be honestly like just scalable for myself or doable for myself to maintain, because I don't always have the energy to go out finding clothes, and I'm really picky when it comes to clothes. So, but I know how I like my hair done. I can take 20 minutes and blow dry it or curl it, and then, my nails, same thing. Like, I can just paint them or whatever, but if they're manicured and look nice, I feel a lot better about myself, and I think that confidence and self-love really does show outwardly.
Yeah. Question, what would you say I would think that's more of like a materialistic physical thing, but what would you say is the trait that makes you feel most in your feminine energy? Like where you are like, oh, I'm killing this.
A trait that she talks about, or just like one that
Yeah.
detachment. 100%.
Detachment.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's going to be an episode just in and of itself, because I'm obsessed with it. But like 100%.
That's a good one.
Yeah. What about you?
When she talks about receiving, and I think
yeah.
detachment kind of plays in that.
Yeah.
But just receiving anything and everything and acting, not reacting.
Yeah.
And in rule 1, let me find it really quick. She talks about listening.
Yeah.
And
I was just reading
receiving,
that. Yeah.
listening.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. I love how she talks about it as like such a powerful skill that you're not like retracting your power. You're not limiting your power. What you're actually doing is listening to others to find out who they are, exactly who they are, to decide for yourself. Oh, is this something I want to, and I guess specifically in relationships, is this something I want to be involved in, or is this for me? Really, you're giving yourself all the power.
Yeah. Well, and that's what feminine, like, she talks about getting your power back also in the book. And I think that listening, and just because when you're listening, you're secure in who you are as well. Like, you don't feel like you have to chime in. And I make jokes about it all the time because it's like a trauma thing for me. I hate sitting in silence in conversations. So I repost on TikTok all the time, like, not me dumping all of my like trauma or life secrets, to just
to fill the void,
to keep the conversation going. But oh my gosh, is that true? So being able to sit and just listen without the intention of responding has been a really interesting practice, because I'm on the receiving end of someone else's babbling and them revealing more and more about their character. And it's It's an interesting little psychological game, but it is very, very valid.
Yeah. That's one of the things she talks about, that it can you hear lucky that I like, and I found interesting for feminine energy, because sometimes you walk into a room and the loudest, wildest girl seems like the it girl. And if that's truly who you are and what makes you feel confident and secure and feminine, go be it. But that's actually very opposite of what Margarita talks about,
Yeah.
as far as the woman that listens.
This is a direct quote from her book. The reality of facing who you are, facing your real emotions, they will always guide you away from what is not for you. They are your feminine superpower, your gut feeling and guide. Lifting your head out of the sand, accepting yourself and saying, you know what? I love myself, pounds overweight or underweight. I love myself for getting myself here. I love myself because all of my ancestors survived in whatever snow, jungle, war, or plague that they survived to bring me here. I deserve to be here and deserve the best that life has to offer.
Yeah, I really like how there's tribute and appreciation to like everyone who came before you to create who you are, how there's uniqueness in you.
Yeah.
That was like a different viewpoint that you don't normally get with feminine energy.
Yeah, and I think about back to our epigenetics episode when we talk about, we're all born into the middle of the story, and I think that it's important to have grace for the environment that we're born into, because we don't have control over that, but we do have control over how we react to it, and not and adapt from that and grow from that place. Rather than maybe adopting like a bitterness or a victim mindset, because none of that says feminine energy. Feminine energy is not about glorifying the struggle, and she talks about that also. Yeah.
Yeah, you get to literally choose to build yourself from whatever trauma or environment you were placed in. It's not your fault, but now it's your responsibility.
Ooh, say that again. Ooh. Yes, ma'am.
I love that.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. That goes hand in hand with the like mothering, and I love that she brought up being a mom. I relate so much, one, to her as a Slavic and Eastern European woman growing up in that culture with that kind of mom. I completely relate to everything she talks about as far as, for the Slavic woman, feminine energy and embracing it is so important. It's in their everyday life. Like, you don't walk out the door in your pajamas, in a hoodie, in sweats and leggings. You put your best look on, and I think that's why women are so respected in Eastern Europe. But then when she talked about mothers, and it's kind of a separate note, when our children see us struggle, as a mom, your children shouldn't see you struggle. And that's one of my goals in life, is like, no matter what, no matter how hard being a single mom was, I always wanted to make sure she saw the joy. Because if you are that mother who is sharing the struggle with your children, one, you're not showing your daughter how to thrive in her feminine energy, but sharing the joy. And you can share sacrifice and being strong without making your children feel guilty for it. That's not creating a strong feminine woman. That's creating a people pleaser. That's creating
Survival mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's creating a masculine woman, and it's creating a woman that has to feel like she has to apologize for wanting to walk in her feminine energy, or just femininity in general, which is a shame, because it's what we were designed for. This is this is a role that we get to play, and like that we get to put on, and we get to embrace, and I see that as such a gift.
And it's a gift to the masculine.
Yeah.
They can't thrive in masculine if we're not thriving in feminine.
Right. It's like both sides of the battery. Like, you need the plus and the negative for it to work. The conduit for the power. she had a quote too in here about, well, self-adornment is one of the parts of self-love that she talks about. And I started wearing earrings regularly just because I'd never wear jewelry, or like historically have never worn jewelry. And I feel so much more feminine when I have them on, to the point where when I'm not wearing them, I'm like, I'm naked, and just, but it's fun. It's
Yeah.
fun to like go shopping for jewelry or kind of develop your taste in that, because that's not something I would have known that I like. I prefer gold jewelry over silver or something like that. So, but she does talk about beauty has an element of joy and creativity that we sometimes forget. It's enjoyable to play a character, to dress up, and to transform ourselves. And then she also says, much of the power of adornment is the message that it sends. I took the time to look after myself. I took the time to apply this makeup. I took the time to style my hair. I took the time to choose my clothes. I am worth my time, and therefore I am worth your time too. That which we invest in has value to us and to others.
I loved that part.
Yeah.
Because you're showing yourself off on a silver platter, not as like in vain
Yeah.
or in your out of ego, but out of like, this is what I can give to the world. I've invested so much in myself. This is why you should invest in me. This is why you need to bet on me. And men love a woman like that.
Yeah.
When they know that when they put their money into her, they're going to get like creation. Yeah. Women create, and they're going to get something back. And that sounds like, let's not take that face value, literally meaning like that woman is going to help build
it's a return on investment.
Like that name, that family name is going to grow and become a lot bigger together than on their own. But in order for that to happen, you have to build yourself first. Mm-hmm. You have to be whole completely before you can compliment another person and them compliment you.
Yeah. And confidence is such a huge part of that. And she also says, if you truly decide that your features are beautiful, if you truly fall in love with them, people will believe you. So you could have, like, I don't know, for instance, I think about our photo shoot and how you borrowed a pair of my jeans and they fit you very differently than they would fit me. And I would...
Mm-hmm. They fit you a lot.
No.
Say that.
I look like a busted can of biscuits sometimes in those jeans. But you know what? But I have bigger hips than you do. So that's just like, that's the way that it is. And I used to, in so many circumstances, would be like, I've got some fat legs, like I've got some birthing hips or something. I don't know. But now I'm like, no, I like that I have something that jiggles. I don't know how to put that.
something to
grab onto, or, but I've learned to like that about myself. And I think that as long as you like it, men don't really care. Like if you like it, they do. I think men are simple in that way.
I think men love what you love.
Well, exactly.
And that's why a woman should love, one, everything about herself, and two, love things in general. Because when you have passion in life, when you have hobbies, when you have things that you aspire towards, like, who doesn't love that? Like, who doesn't love a passionate, happy, joyful person who fills their time with things that add value to their own life, not seeking things out of people to add value into their life?
That's so good. And I used to, because, I mean, you and I decidedly have very grandmotherly hobbies. And I remember, like, when I started dating again, telling men, like, oh, like, when they'd ask me, like, what do you like to do for fun? And I'd say, oh, I like to quilt. And I would remember being, like, getting mixed responses of, like, oh. And then, like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, you don't meet many women our age that do that. And, like, but once guys got to know me, or guy particularly got to know me, I like celebrate that and just like he sees it as a creative thing, and it's like that's amazing. And I mean, honestly, if a guy actually wants to pursue you, he's gonna play along with it, and he's gonna, you know what I mean, like.
But like they learn to love it because it's like they're loving it through
Yeah.
you. I was laughing when you were saying that because we went snowboarding. My husband Matt went snowboarding this weekend and I did not. But I sat in the lodge with Lockie and like literally a minute after we started driving, he just paused. He's like, "Did you get your crochet?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Okay, good." I just thought that was so cute. I was like, I got it. I love a supportive king who supports my hobbies.
I am obsessed with that.
Cultivate the soft life.
This is a good one.
It's my goal for 2025.
This is my mantra of just, I don't know, after going through all of the things that I did and needing to literally create a space that supported me 24/7 with regulating my nervous system, this is something that I feel like I really had to force myself to embrace rather than like try to adopt it, because I was like, I've always felt like I was being chased by a bear, just constantly in that state. So I love when she says, a soft life, it's not a life without work or without growth, nor is it a life without bettering yourself. It's a life of flow, feminine energy, acceptance, and becoming the best version of yourself.
It's not glorifying the struggle.
No.
It's hustling, but not struggling.
Yeah, and there's the accountability of actually working on yourself. And she says a lot in her videos, an interesting woman is interested, meaning you have hobbies. You're you know, even if it doesn't stick, you're at least pursuing things and trying things, because you know what? Hobby Lobby hates to see me coming. You know, like, oh, Renee's in a needlepoint now? Oh, that, like, just trying out different things for the sake of creating and failing and laughing about it with my friends. And it's the accountability aspect of just growing in general, I think.
It's removing the struggle. And as you grow, like struggle, you flee from struggle. It's allowing men to take on the masculine. It's allowing them to have the struggle. They're built for that. They're built for that. They have more testosterone for a reason. They're built for the struggle, for the fixing, for the pursuing, for a reason. You're not meant to struggle. We're not meant to struggle.
No. And it's funny when you were talking about that, the immediate example I thought of was, how many times have you been talking to Matt or somebody, not specifically Matt, but just a man, about a problem that you're going through, and they immediately offer solutions, you know, and you're like, no, I can handle it. I was just like, just having a conversation. But I think
that's so funny because that's so true.
It's so true, but it's because they're doers, and we're more of the feelers. We're more of the, like, there's the saying, men may buy the home, but men buy the house, but women make it the home. Like, there's
so true.
There's that nurturing aspect versus the providing aspect that's masculine.
Mm-hmm. You know, back to what you just said, it used to really annoy me, because I'm like, no, just like listen to me vent, listen to my feelings. But it's like, hold on, if you can just do your masculine thing really quick, I can thrive in my feminine. Like, you'll let me thrive in my feminine. And then they take on the problem for you. I'm kidding. Yeah. But like, that's so good. That's so true. That happens all the time. What else does she talk about having a soft life?
Create a life of quality that you want. You can, if you work hard, delegate. It's not always about laundry or household chores. It can be about work projects. Even if you don't have money, it can be about help. Asking your friends for help, asking your man for help. And please ask your man for help. why are we independent over here, not relying on anyone and not getting stuff done? We need to sometimes rely on people and lean on people in order to get things happening.
That's so true.
My
I was going to say, I have never heard Matt complain when I've asked for help. And I don't do it enough, but I should. I'll like ask him for help with something. And then if anything, he's like, go relax. Let me do it. Sometimes I have to ask. It's kind of nice. I think we as women kind of think like, well, why don't they just go do it? If they wanted to, they would. But it's like, no, just ask.
We need to deploy the troops.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a queen bee for a reason. She tells the other bees where to go.
He's going to love this one.
Embracing your feminine is about asking for help, and it's receiving help, and man, was that hard for me to do, and it still is. Because Enneagram 2 thing is the secret sin of that is pride. And man, not only that, but I've lived an independent lifestyle now for long enough to flow into that. So it's like, how do I let someone else in and let a man take care of me? And yeah.
Well, your childhood and what you went through as a kid has prepared you to feel fulfilled and validated on being the helper, overextending yourself. But like, you have to literally rewire your brain out of that.
No, and that's where when she says, I'm worthy of the soft life, I'm worthy of just existing in this role, and I'm worthy of choosing the character that I want to be today and getting to embrace that fully. So yeah, it's so important. But yeah, receiving has definitely been something that's intentionally had to be worked on for me.
That's good. Me too.
Yeah.
A long time. Me too. One little quote, just to have to add this in there because we say it all the time differently. But she says, if it's not for me, let it miss me.
I love that.
And stop showing a man you'll struggle for him. Ew.
Ew.
So there's that. Okay, I loved that.
Me too.
So self-love and cultivate the soft life. 2 things to work on. Do something for yourself and then create an environment around you where that self is thriving.
Yeah. Thriving, not surviving. I just dissociated for a second thinking about how I'm going to how I'm going to challenge myself to do that this week.
How are you?
I don't know. That's why I was like, what am I going to do?
I will say, like, I feel like I did a great job of that today. I don't know what my son is on, but it's the terrible twos. Even Matt said it on the phone today. I was like, honey, even if he wants something and he gets it, it's still a tantrum. Like, everything has been a nonstop tantrum today. And today it was just like, part of like preparing for this podcast is like, I have to be mentally there to be fully present in this. And so, I did it for the podcast, but I also did it, for myself and the kids, but just like not reacting at all and just acting on everything and choosing each single decision or mental decision I make, whether will I allow this to frustrate me, overstimulate me? And it's like, no, today we live the soft life and the terrible twos with the boy. So I'm feeling that's going to be my continued goal until next week.
I think mine is choosing joy, because nothing says not feminine energy like negativity.
Yeah.
And just choosing joy and embracing whatever is the way it's supposed to be. And
Yeah.
just putting joy on like it's makeup. And it's meant to make me look more beautiful because it does. And it's magnetic. And she talks about that too. But
So much good stuff she talks about, guys.
yeah.
Go search her. Also, one more thing we need to talk about. Hopefully TikTok doesn't shut down.
Okay, is that actually going to happen though? Like,
People have been saying that if it's not going to get deleted, it's not going to, our apps, America's like internet structure, app system, whatever, will no longer be able to support the updates, the bug fixes, all of that. It will literally not be able to work. As I don't know, but I'm so sad because I thrive on her videos. She also has a YouTube, so go watch her there too and listen to her podcast. I think it is becoming her, not being her. I don't know. I forget these little things. I listen to a million things.
I just know the Meta team and Instagram team is just watching with their bowl of popcorn, like reels it is. Like they would make so much money if they just like took reels off like threads and just made TikTok that way and just filled that void.
It probably will happen.
It probably will. Because they've already got the infrastructure for it, but
watch her while you can. Watch us while you can.
Oh, we'll be around. We're not going anywhere. We'll find a way. We are determined. Yeah. So.
Okay, guys. Until next week.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.